Mike Colombo of our St. Louis affiliate KMOV is in West Alton, Missouri.
Good morning to you. Officials here in West Alton, Missouri are keeping a very close eye on the flood waters. The barricades behind me are blocking US 67. Officials say the flood waters are about 1/10 of a mile from where I'm standing. Over here, they've crafted a levee overnight. They're doing whatever they can to keep the flood waters out of this community. But last night when that warning went out, one thing was clear: evacuate immediately. The rapidly rising waters breached the levees shortly after 8 p.m. Monday in West Alton, Missouri, about 20 miles north of St. Louis. Heavy rainfall from severe storms over the weekend brought water levels from the Mississippi River to over 33 feet by Monday morning. That's 13 feet above flood stage.
I came through here this morning, and again, it was fine. And then again, 6-8 hours later, this is what you're looking at.
Even before the breach, many area roads were already underwater, causing major headaches for travelers and local businesses forced to shut down.
It's just sad for some of the restaurants because a month ago they had to take everything out, and then they put it all back in, cleaned it all, and now they had to take it all out again.
Despite the heavy lifting, area residents and volunteers are already joining forces to make sure this community stays afloat.
Everybody gets together and helps each other. You help your neighbor, help your friends. So if everybody helps everybody out, this would be a great world.
Despite the warning, many residents here in this town of about 300 say they will stay put. The National Weather Service says there is still a slight risk for flash flooding this afternoon. Good news to report: no injuries thus far. Nora, Charlie. Good morning to you, Andre. The stadium behind me here only serves as a baseball backdrop. You'll be happy to know no Cardinal players are involved in these current allegations. Some opponents are, though, including the Milwaukee Brewers star outfielder Ryan Braun. It was supposed to be the trip of a lifetime. 2 weeks in Italy, a mother, her daughter, and a cousin. But then, terrible news.
When we found out the diagnosis of my cousin's daughter, that she had a very serious case of leukemia.
There would be no Italy trip this summer for Diane Martin and her family. Just weeks after buying 3 tickets, she called to cancel. She paid $5,000, including $210 for travel insurance. She thought she was covered.
Hearing in the past, that's why you purchase insurance, is so heaven forbid someone dies or gets injured or gets sick, that they would get their money back. That's why you take it out.
Or why you think you're taking it out. Diane booked her flights and bought her tickets online through Cheapo Air. From the minute she started calling, it was one hassle after another.
I called them about 2 to 3 weeks after the purchase of the tickets. And the first thing they said to me was, well, you don't have insurance on your ticket.
Which was obviously wrong. Diane had that email confirmation proving she'd paid for insurance.
I did end up talking to 8 people throughout that day into the night with inconsistencies as to whether we could still get insurance.
Along with the confusion, endless red tape.
They asked me for papers and papers of documentation. I gave them all the documentation they asked for. They kept asking for more. It has been a 3-week nightmare.
We wanted to know why this was such a hassle. She paid for the insurance, and there is a serious illness. Does travel insurance work or not? For now, Diane is skeptical.
Please don't think that if you buy insurance on your ticket, that is any guarantee that you are going to get your money back.
We contacted the insurance company Travelex directly. A company spokesperson tells me the situation is much more complicated than they originally thought. Privacy regulations prevent them from sharing specific details, but Travelex promised me its claims department is contacting Diane directly to resolve her claim. We'll let you know how it turns out. I'm Mike Colombo, News 4. Well, Andre, let's start with some TSA banned list history. A few months ago, the TSA pulled snow globes off its banned list, allowing them to be carried on if the globe has less than 3.4 ounces of liquid inside. This one would be allowed. So you can get your snow globe on board, but the plan to allow pocket knives under 6 centimeters in length like this one has been taken off the table. Nancy and Mark Williams had U.S. cellular phone service for 7 years and loved it. Any problems with U.S. Cellular over that 7-year time?
No, perfectly happy with them.
That all changed in late April. U.S. Cellular sent them a letter saying their Midwest business, that's the area in red on this map, was being sold to Sprint.
They were not going to honor the contract. They weren't going to be able to use the phones that we have with U.S. Cellular, and then we would either need to go to Sprint and start a new contract, or we could go with anyone that we choose.
So they canceled their service and signed up with T-Mobile. When they got their final bill from U.S. Cellular, they also got a big surprise. Almost $300 in early termination fees. When you see that fee, what are you thinking to yourself?
They're the ones going out of business. We wouldn't have left them. We were forced to leave them. So I just didn't feel that it was right for us to have to pay an early termination fee when we just didn't have a choice.
You might think it doesn't seem fair for U.S. Cellular to charge a termination fee when U.S. Cellular is the one selling the accounts. But a company spokesperson tells us this isn't about fairness, it's about timing. In a statement, U.S. Cellular says customers who transfer their service before the sale closed would be charged an early termination fee. The sale closed on May 17th. Nancy Williams canceled before then. She says it was never clear that she had to wait.
I didn't know anything about that either. When I had called them to talk about porting my number over, they said that it could still be 30, 60, 90 days before the final sale.
No one ever called and said, expect these fees, this is an explanation of these fees.
No. No.
The Williams aren't the only ones who are upset. The sale of U.S. Cellular's Midwest accounts covers 585,000 customers, with many of them right here in the St. Louis area. U.S. Cellular's Facebook page is lit up with complaints. Still, we're hopeful the Williams can get some satisfaction. We've put them directly in touch with U.S. Cellular offices in Chicago, and they're working on a deal. I'm Mike Colombo, News 4.